So let's start with where you got into Bitcoin, and then after you got into Bitcoin, where that kind of entrepreneurial spirit kind of kicked in and drove you to drive yes to Bitcoins.
Yeah, sure. So first I heard about Bitcoin, and I did one big mistake. I said, it's super interesting, but it's too complicated. It's never going to pick up. So I just put it aside. 1 year later, I went back into it, and then I was able to get some Bitcoins. Big mistake, I $100 back then, I would be rich. But anyway, I did get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin started going up. I was excited and said, well, if it's supposed to be a currency, you should be able to use your Bitcoins, right? To spend them, to get stuff. So I check out for how to spend them, and I couldn't find a place to do it in Canada. So I said, well, I'll just put aside. So I start programming, and I put aside. I start selling gift cards for Canada, and I said, well, if it's this, if I have problems in Canada, there must be other countries. So I started checking around other places. So I added many gift cards, and then I put my site in production. And within 10 minutes, I got an email, which I thought it was a mistake, and turns out that somebody had bought $500 of a gift card. Like, okay, so I I need to set up my my email account and everything under my domain. I was able to do that, and I was able to process my first sale, and that's how Bitcoin, Yes to Bitcoins, got started.
Okay, that sounds exciting. It's always incredibly exciting when you get that first order coming in.
I thought it wasn't a mistake.
Yeah, well, especially 10 minutes after you just set up the site.
Yeah, probably I had it on for some time, in production, but I wasn't publicizing or anything. So I guess it got picked up by Google, and then when I put the e-commerce side on, somebody went in and bought it. So.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about international offering of gift cards or international gift cards? I know that, maybe if you have the gift card here in the United States, it might not necessarily work in Canada or perhaps vice versa. What can you kind of tell me about your experience with, or maybe that's getting ahead of let's talk about maybe just companies issuing gift cards and kind of how that all works.
Yeah, so companies like gift cards because they get the income in advance. Now, one thing that happened with gift cards is that a lot of people lose their gift cards. So the companies, after some time, they realize that, well, that's free money. Now, there's different legislation around gift cards, right? So, for example, in Canada and the States, once you issue a gift card, the gift card it's valid for I want to say forever, but I think there's some couple of places, states where it's only 5 years. But there are other places, like in Spain, for example. If you buy an Amazon gift card from Amazon Spain, it's valid only for 1 year. So if you don't spend it after that time, boop, the money is the gift card is useless and it goes to the company. Now, yes, the companies are corporations, usually corporations that issue them. Usually they're big companies, but the companies issue them, and they have restrictions as to where you can use it, and usually it's only for one country. So if you get a gift card from Amazon Canada, you cannot use it in the States, or in Europe. Well, you would be able to use one from, you can use one in euros from Amazon Italy, but you cannot that same gift card in euros for Amazon Germany, even if it's euros. So it's not about the currency, it's more about the site that issued them.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that.
Yes,
so
yes. So
even within the Eurozone, or even like the European Union or the European Economic Area, you still can't use gift cards the same way that you can use like money.
Yeah, exactly. So and then there are like Amazon controls their own gift cards, but then there are, oh, I think I lost it. Okay, perfect. So Amazon control their own gift cards, but there are usually a couple of big companies that they're specialized in issuing and controlling gift cards. So usually companies just subcontract their service, and then there are a couple of big corporations around the world that that control the well, I wouldn't say the market of gift cards, but that are the labels unknown for most people that issue gift cards. So, for example, Starbucks, they don't issue their own gift cards. They use this company, and Best Buy, etc. The reason I know that is because I got vetoed by one of them, so I don't sell those gift cards anymore.
Okay. How about paying credit cards with BTC? What can you tell me about that?
Yes, so that's a service that I offer only in Canada. So in Canada, it's very particular, the legislation. So before I launch this service, I check out all the legislation, and it was very particular to say, oh yes, you can sell you can pay a credit card, but you cannot, which would mean buying technically the bitcoins, but as long as I don't sell later on the bitcoins to in my site, which would open the possibility of money laundering, I'm okay. So that was very clear from the government, and they told me I cannot sell them, and they told me also that I should not pay prepaid credit cards. So that was clear from the beginning, and I have been doing it now for 3 years now.
Okay, wow. Then no snags, no major problems so far. Everything's going well for you?
No, everything's going fine. At one point, I was afraid. There was the banks are very conservative, and I do have a bank account, right, for all the exchange, and I do deal with fiat. And I was afraid that my bank at one point there would be concern, because I was clear from the beginning, this is what I do. And they told me, well, at the beginning, they didn't even know what Bitcoin was. So yeah, whatever. But later on, I remember at one point, I asked for my line of credit to be larger. And they go, oh, no, because you deal with Bitcoins. And like, okay, so I guess it's going to end soon. They're going to tell me, find another bank. But no, they never give me any problems. When I have also like a corporate credit card, and you usually the way you get a credit card when it's business is way more strict than when you get a credit card like a normal person, because with business the bank can actually lose whatever you purchase. With a person, the bank can always go after the person. So it's very strict. So even though you have already a relationship with the bank and you're getting a credit card business with that bank, you also have to go through an interview, etc. And when I got my business credit card, they went, oh, you do Bitcoins, like, and then people talking with people and whatever, and then they go back to me, oh, well, turns out that we are more flexible for credit cards, but as compared to bank accounts, so you're fine. So they gave me the amount that I wanted and everything. So far, so good.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I definitely have a couple of my own, I wouldn't say horror stories, but I've definitely got some friction from the bank, even just for buying, Bitcoins through Coinbase or whatever. Do you think that BTC will ever become a currency, or will it just kind of stay digital gold? What are your thoughts on that?
So if people want to leave, messages here and hate messages, let's start. I don't think Bitcoin is going to become a currency. I think it's going to be digital gold. In my experience, I've seen that there's a correlation, for example, with the fluctuations of the price of Bitcoin. Whenever the price of Bitcoin go up, my sales go up. And when it goes down, it just stops everything. and it's a direct correlationship. So I think with that I can infer that there's a lot of speculation. And I see also when I speak with other members of the Bitcoin community, most people, when they got Bitcoin, they hold it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have regrets about, oh, I saw 2000 is going to be the top that it would go, and then I sold everything, and then it went to 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. 20,000, it went to 25,000 Canadian. So that's why if you consider US, it was only 20,000 US. So at the end, I think it's going to be a digital gold. And if we go into discussion about economics, the currencies, they have a history of losing value. That is true. But the fact that they lose value also results in helping the economy, be like the oil in the economy. And that's something that Bitcoin can't do, because it's the way it's designed is it do not loses value, so it increases value. So that means people will hold the Bitcoin. So it would restrict, for example, the fluidity of money. So its own nature is like gold, as to there's always going to be a restricted amount. And
Right.
yeah, we know the amount that is going to be issued is 21 million, and there's a lot of Bitcoins that they're lost.
They're gone.
There are
Yeah.
horror stories of people, my wallet, it went into the hard drive, I did a format, and like, I lost
Yep.
my password. So
Yeah.
its value is going to go up. So I don't think it's going to be adopted as a currency, but I definitely think it's going to be used as digital gold. And I think that another valid thing that it's going to be used to is for doing international transactions.
Like remittance payments and stuff. Remittance payments and stuff like that.
Yeah. So if I want to transfer money to my family in Mexico or something like that, or the other way around, there are many students that, for example, international students that come to Canada, and their parents, instead of sending them a wire transfer, they just send them Bitcoin, and boop, you can sell them in an exchange, and it's way cheaper and faster. We're talking about a couple of hours with all the transaction validations and everything, compared to doing it with a bank.
Yeah, which could be days. Okay, so you briefly mentioned that your traffic or your sales are directly correlated with the price. When the price is up, then you see lots of volume. When the price is down, everything kind of flattens out.
Yeah.
So I mean that kind of opens you up to as a business owner, that opens you up to like some pretty substantial risk. I would assume. Like, so can you kind of elaborate on like the risk for companies that deal with crypto, but they pay for services with fiat money? Like how do you kind of balance that?
Okay, I don't want to answer how I take care of that. That's part of my secret formula, but I can tell you that I'm not exposed. There are ways around to doing it, but it does take some reserves in both fiat and currency. I've seen a lot of companies actually lost their shirt with that. But fortunately for me, I figured out a way, a process to protect myself. And without, the complexity of it is always hidden for my clients. So for them, once they put an order, that's it. You have a price of exchange that's written in gold, in stone, so they're covered. And on my end, I'm covered also. I do have some flexibility there, and fortunately, I'm okay. But I've seen others that they don't know the risks of it, and other companies do end up closing shops. So fortunately, years for me, I've been okay.
Okay. So here I have in your notes the impact of banks and crypto exchanges and payment gateways on companies that take crypto.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, so I hope it's okay if I mention a couple of the names of your competitors for Loconomics. So, for example, the gateway itself, at one point I was dealing with BitPay. Mm-hmm. So BitPay, it has a model where they actually take the care of the conversion into fiat. They do give a different price, which is lower than the leading exchange rate. So I guess they make money with that. Plus, they charge all the companies that use their service a percentage. But at one point, and I remember this, I was in France at that time. And I can operate anywhere, and all of a sudden I get this email from them like, they never want to talk to me. What's going on? And then they told me, well, we're contacting all the Canadians because we just can't find a bank that would deal with us. So we are holding we are stopping all operations in Canada.
Oh,
What?
wow.
What do you mean you're stopping? I have to stop if you stop, right? So and that's an impact of the banks directly doing having the control of what is an exchange and having a control or the whole being only them the ones that can legally trade do transactions in fiat money. So fortunately I found Loconomics after that, and I figured out a way for me to not be dependent on the payment gateway, and with that, I'm okay.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear.
Oh yeah, I've been using you since the day I set up with you guys. Everything's smooth.
Okay, excellent. Good to hear that. Very good to hear that. What can you tell us about the evolution of cost to promote a company in like specialized sites like Google?
Well, Google is not a specialized site. It would be more specialized sites in crypto that I would like to mention of it. So, at the beginning, when I started just to Bitcoins, I would send a press release, and plenty of sites would pick it up, and specialized sites would love it, and then they would ask me questions, write articles around it. It was really a community, and there was an interest for anyone that was doing innovation, that was participating, that was starting something. Let's share, let's help each other. But throughout the years, like each time I would launch a new project or a service related to Bitcoins, I would do my press release. I would have a model, register a video about it, and etc. And then there was going to be people, specialized sites would say, "Oh, we don't take press releases. You want for your press release to be mentioned, you have to pay." At the beginning was $100, then $500, then $1,000. At one point last year, they asked me for $10,000 to not to use my press release, but to write a sponsor article. Like, what? Are you kidding me? That's not
grand, huh?
that's not the basis behind journalism. If you want me to pay for advertising, yeah, just ask me. Well, there are these packages. Well, okay. I ask, let's find out how much do I get charged for doing I don't know, buying a package of 10,000 impressions of banners, and I create the banners. You don't even have to create them, man. They're asking me for a fortune, like 4K for 10,000 impressions, which it's unheard of, right? So that's something that it's sad that is taking place.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. 10
Mhm.
grand.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I'm looking at your site right now, Darwin. Looks like you can pay a Mastercard or American Express or Visa credit card bill, um,
Hmm.
in only in Canada though,
Only,
right?
only in Canada, yes.
But it looks like you have a number of services here, like some in looks like France, Italy, Germany. You can shop on
Those are
Amazon,
gift cards.
Spain.
Those are gift cards.
Okay. Canadian hydro bill. This is like your water bill, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yeah. And I like IKEA all across the European Union. Looks like.
Yeah, IKEA, the way it's set up is that IKEA is one that does accept the gift cards in any IKEA in Europe as long as it's denominated in euros. So that one, that is a good case that Amazon should follow and other companies.
Okay. Okay. Now this looks great. Well, I think that's about all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else you'd kind of like to touch on, or discuss, or mention, or plug?
Um, yeah, there are people that something that I wanted to mention is when I started to consider Bitcoins, as I mentioned to someone, a couple of people here and there, I'm going to buy Bitcoins. I'm going to put $100 in there, and they go, you're going to lose your money. You're going to lose your money. Everyone was like, don't do it. So years later, the price went up. I'm happy, and if I mention, oh, I have some Bitcoins, you know what people tell me? They tell me exactly the same thing. Oh, you're going to lose your money. Well, I, if you're so much afraid of it, I think a lot of people are afraid of something of the unknown. And the way to mitigate that is to reduce the possibility of losing. So one of the things that I would like to mention to anyone listening to this, if you are thinking of investing in Bitcoins, you don't need to buy an entire Bitcoin. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoins. You can go
Yeah.
into cents. Just try it. Download a free wallet. Put $1 equivalent in Bitcoins, and you can say you have Bitcoins, and you at least you'll have the experience, see fluctuate in value, but it's only $1. So don't say you're going to lose. Don't take a position without trying it, and it's not that much of a risk.
Okay. No, I totally agree. That's what I tell a lot of my friends and family. They've kind of been laughing at me for years. They don't really laugh so much anymore. But yeah, you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, the time where you could buy entire Bitcoin for just a few dollars is gone. It's not
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wish it would come back just for a little bit. Um, well,
Yeah,
Darwin,
well,
I really,
there have been dark moments. For example, I lost some Bitcoins with empty box, but you
oh
know,
no, do you want to tell us about
no.
it?
Oh yeah, sure. So back in the day, MTGOX was the main exchange, and there was in Canada there was only one other exchange, and the Canadian exchange, it was so difficult for them to accept your money. But this one in Japan, everyone was talking about it. It was trustworthy. So like, oh, you send money, you have your bitcoins, and from back from then, I said, well, if I can have my own wallet, I should have my own wallet and save my bitcoins there. So when it went down, that it froze everything, I was okay. I didn't have most of my bitcoins there, but I was doing the same thing as others. If I keep here a little bit in that exchange, I can sell it, and then when it goes down, I can buy perhaps. And everyone was dreaming about doing some speculation, so they got me there. So,
Yeah.
well, many years later, I'm still waiting for the attribution. I don't know how much I'm going to get out of the Bitcoins that I have there, but we'll see. Well, it's way more than now. It's worth way more than back then. Back then, we were, head over heels that it was above 1K its value. Now it's that's 5 times less than what it's now, right? Well, talking Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy times in the Bitcoin space. Well, I'd like to really thank you for your time tonight, Darwin. Is there anything else you'd like to mention or touch on before we go?
No, I'll let you go to sleep.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. Thanks for telling us your story. And to all our viewers and watchers out there, blockonomics.co if you'd like to start your own business like Darwin has here. And be sure to visit yestobitcoins.com. Specifically, especially if you're a Canadian, there's a lot of stuff on there. But even if you're from the United States or the European Union, there's a great opportunity to actually use your Bitcoins as currency in the real world. So again, Darwin, thanks for your time. And I guess we'll see you around.
Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, bye.